All right, thank you all for being here. I don't have anything prepared to present or show it to anyone. I've been asked to come help with the student activity accounts. We're currently going through records and, becoming familiar how things are kept. Myself and team member Kelly is here. We're here to take your questions and help you with any questions and concerns you have. And we want to make sure that we have that account information there for you so that you can have access to those funds. So I'll just open up to all you guys to let us know if you have any questions and concerns about it.
You ready? I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
I'm just curious if you can tell me when I might know when I could have some information about what the funds can.
Okay. We have tariff records. We're going through them, trying to assess, whose account is whose. And, as soon as we get through that, we'll bring it out to you. I have a card. You can contact me directly. Once we get that information, we can link up and go over it. Now, like I say, we're going through everything. I don't have anything prepared for us to present. I'm trying to do that soon, so, yeah.
So we have questions about specific changes. We have questions about specific accounts. Can we contact you directly
Absolutely.
and just ask questions about? Okay. I think that was
Absolutely.
easier. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Real quick, so that it's on the recording, so I can post it up. Can you say your name and email?
My name is Marshall Smith. Work for the Division of District Support. My email is Marshall, that's 2 L's, .Smith @education.ky.gov.
Then, second question. So you will be presenting like an actual instructional presentation on student accounts, or student activity accounts?
They're a plan. Once we get all that, all the information of the accounts there, the plan is to get together some processes and figure out what would be the most appropriate for KSD in their situation, and disseminate that. I'm not sure if it would be in front of everyone, or I'm not sure the method, but that's the plan.
This is Kimmy speaking. So is the goal to, I know you all looking through records and you all have emailed me about academic goal and some other things. So is the goal to have a breakdown for each one of us who are looking into these student accounts of like, hey Sandy, this is where your money's at. Hey
Exactly.
Todd, this is how much you have. That will be
Yes.
given to us
Yes.
as a team.
Yes, that's the goal, yeah.
Thank
We're
you.
just trying to get everything straight before we put anything out.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
This is Kimmy again. I'm gonna ask another question. So say we're pressed on time and we need money in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
What do you suggest that we do? Who do we contact and what could that look like?
That's probably would have to look at it individually, so get hold of me, I can help you. I'm sure Zach can as well, and we'll figure out what that is and take care of it.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you got to.
Can you just give a description as far as what's typically done with this student activity account or what
Sure.
funds account?
Sure.
They're using that like interchangeably? from our
Yes.
understanding, So just kind of
Yes.
like an overview of what we actually use those accounts for?
We did primarily with public school districts. Typically in that scenario, you would have a dance team, a boys basketball team. They would do fundraisers, raise money throughout the year. That money would go into an account, and then it would be used through some allowable expense, uniforms, travel to a certain place, a number of things that money would be used for. And throughout the year, there would typically be a budget performed. What your expected revenues would be versus what you're gonna spend. And, yeah, of course, that, KSD with them being a state agency is a little bit different scenario. But that's what we're here to help you work through.
Okay, so last week, Karen said that the student activity accounts, they need to be, that they're for collecting money and then spending money, not
Yes.
for saving money. Is there a time frame? Like, so that by the end of this basketball season, your basketball team has to spend all of their money? Or say you want to sell shirts as a fundraiser next year, well, you have to have money to buy those shirts first before you can sell them. So can you leave money in that account for next year's shirts? Or does it have to be all spent in this fiscal year?
Typically, no, it does not. That money will carry forward, from year to year.
I want to make sure I'm asking the right person too. So can you explain the difference when it comes to fundraisers for a traditional school district versus us, where we're a state agency?
Sure. This would probably go a little bit past what we do. I do have a little experience with it. There is a number of state laws, state regulations, finance cabinet policies that dictate the actions of every state agency, how they go and raise funds, and then if funds are raised based upon that, how they can be kept, accounted for, and used. KSD is somewhat of a unique scenario. So that would be something that we would need to look at and fully vet, just to make sure there wouldn't some kind of question be raised up, after funds are raised or used.
But just to clarify, just to clarify,
We don't fundraise like a regular school. I think that
Sure.
sometimes that's confusing,
Sure,
because as a state agency, we're not supposed to be doing that. From
exactly.
what I understand, I just want
Yes.
to clarify that.
That's my understanding as well. But like I say, everything here is a little different, so I hate to give a blanket statement and not take into account all the news
Right.
for you guys. Yeah.
doesn't like,
The acoustics are horrible here. I'm trying my best to listen. I was trying to really catch that and absorb what you guys were just saying. Could you just repeat that? I really want to make sure I understand.
So one of the things that I was saying is that we don't fundraise like a typical school does, because we're a state agency. So we need to be very careful about what we consider to be traditional fundraisers. And that's what I was just asking for clarification on, because we have a different set of rules because we're a state school. So that's what I just was asking for a little bit more information.
Yeah, and that's why, there's some questions coming up before, and I was a little slow getting the answer. That's because I don't ever want to say yes or give an answer on something, and then there'll be some rule in a back page somewhere that'll pop up and get everyone in trouble, and tarnish reputation, or give any kind of cloud among the community. It's a very unique situation, so, we're here to work with you guys and get all the answers, but it is a little bit tricky. It's different than what we're typically used to, so it will take us a little time to check everything.
So like at a traditional high school, you sell cookie dough for the soccer team or whatever.
Yes,
So does that stay with the traditional, if this 2023 soccer team raises the money, then that money must be spent on 2023 soccer team?
typically it stays as a group and it's not necessarily restricted to that specific year.
Okay.
So there may be some carryover to your next year.
I'm sorry.
That's fine, that's what we're here for.
I promise you, I'm not trying to box anybody in or make anybody uncomfortable. I desperately need to try to understand this.
Sure.
So just want to throw some things out there. It's just in my role, I'm an ag teacher. I am involved in touching a lot of money. Let's just jump to summer camps. We have a high school summer program called Agriculture Camp. Ag Camp, we have sponsors across the county, some of them out of the county, some of them University of Kentucky. Except for we have, maybe as many as 8 to 10 sponsors who sponsor that camp every year.
Sure.
They don't pay for salaries, they don't pay for dorm staff, they don't pay for transportation and meals. Our school pays for all that stuff.
Sure.
That money that they donate, they get sponsor status, we spotlight them and all that stuff. But that becomes, let's see if I can think of my term here, discretionary funds that we can spend for incidentals that don't meet the red tape, frankly. No
Yes.
disrespect.
No, thank you.
My job is, I'm a mover and a shaker. My kids are my true north. I have to make things happen for them. So I work very hard to build these relationships and they come. And so money comes. So I'm feeling confused, just even on that topic right there, does that mean I can't do that anymore? I'm gonna stop talking. I'm just saying, that's even just, I had many questions, but
Yeah.
that's just one.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to sit down now, sorry. I'm sorry.
that's true. As we have got, like I say, we're typically dealing with public school districts. This is a little bit out of our element, so it's been very difficult for us. There is gonna be some fine lines between figuring out whether or not an activity is a student account or whether it's some activity of a school. So it's gonna be hard for me to give a blanket answer on that without us sitting down and going through some of the minutia of each situation. But we're here to do that. And I get a card to you in just a few minutes and we will work through that individually.
Kind of just to tack on to that, if we could get a clarification between student-raised money or fundraisers
Yep.
and sponsorship, and how to deal with both of those categories separately, or how we can.
Yeah, we are working on that. Like I say, as we dove into the record, we're seeing all these different kinds of activity. And we're figuring out that we need to be able to offer a clear line, be able to divide each activity into its own pot. And depending on which pot it goes into will determine how that money is treated. Right?
Okay, so traditionally in Kentucky School for the Deaf High School Department, our seniors, on our traditional senior trip,
Sure.
that has, I've witnessed that longer than before. The last couple of years, our leadership had an idea of how something different.
Sure.
And as a consequence, high school teachers for 2 years, we have not been what we call ourselves
class sponsors. So we have freshman, sophomore, junior, senior class. Traditionally, it's always been that all the high school teachers sponsor a class. Whichever one it is, and whenever your group becomes a senior, you've done your senior trip, you are now briefly retired and you go back to the bottom of the stack and work with. Sometimes you can trade off, but we're busy. You sponsor a group
Sure.
of kids and you sponsor them all the way through high school. So with that in mind, I was just talking with Janice, and we really don't know yet, if we're gonna go back to that, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. I 100% support our students having a senior trip. That is a piece of the core history of this school, and it is important to hold on to. So if we try to hold on to that, we have to have money if these kids are going to live. So hypothetically speaking, I would like for you to be considering that when high school teachers become class sponsors again, you know, we sell, you name it, shirts, cups, towels, cookies, suckers. I mean, from one end of the ground to the other, there aren't anything, pennies to dollars over the course of 4 years of high school journey. So please be thinking about that,
Yeah.
because I can project, if we hold on to our coveted senior trips, we have to continue to provide value and raise funds.
Sure. And are you guys currently doing any kind of budgets for these, projecting what you will raise and then taking out what you expect to spend?
I don't have a question. I'm actually just gonna let you know that that's one of the things that we're trying to work
Sure.
through, because I think that some of the frustration has been
Yeah.
not knowing what their budget is, for different groups and stuff. But we're in the process of getting that stuff worked out,
Yeah.
and, your team and Karen's team have been wonderful in that, but it takes time, because there's so many pieces to it. So it is getting worked out, and they'll be able
Sure.
to do that. We're just not quite there yet. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, and my team is here to walk alongside you while you do that. Like I say, it's a little bit of our element, so it's taking us a little time to get our feet wet. But, we're planning to walk alongside you during this whole process. And it is a little bit of our element, so, I apologize if it takes us a little time to get an answer to you. But, we just want to make sure we're never advising you to do something that would be a violation of some other rule somewhere else and end up getting people in trouble. Yeah, we hope to get some more information and financial numbers and get that out to everybody and get connected with everyone soon. We're working as fast as we can to we're getting that. So. Like I said, we're here if you have any questions in the meantime. I always hope someone that, mentioned may need some money soon, so if those needs are upcoming, please, probably go through Zach, let myself know, and we'll be glad to, do what we can to, get take care of it.
I'm brand new, so I don't know how any of this works. But can you expand a little bit when you say that, like fundraising is different, rules are different from a public school?
Yes.
So do you mean, like, we're not allowed to do typical fundraisers? Can you just, for a new person, do you care to
Yeah.
expand on that?
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. Student activity accounts, have some rules known as Red Book. And those are rules that KDE came up with the intention of giving them to public school districts. Public school districts are not state agencies, so they're not subject to all the rules and state laws that may exist for people like the road department, transportation, and like Department of Revenue to collect your taxes. They do apply to you guys. So the trick is having to follow these set of rules over here designed just for a public school district, but also obeying those rules as well and making that all jive. And so that's what we're here to help you do. So it's not to say that you can't fundraise. It's not to say you can't spend on this or that. It's just how do you do those things and not get yourselves in trouble.
Hello, I am Lisa Kingsley. I'm teacher as well as the athletic director here. So right now, I've been thinking about what I've been hearing. And I do have experience doing, shall we say, last minute fundraising for basketball. And during the break, somebody told me no, and I was like, but the students want to do that. The students want to be involved in that. So that activity. So we're halftime. So how should we address that? You know, I'm trying to figure out how to address that.
Yeah, we're not here to say that there can be any kind of fundraising. We are just trying to look at what you guys are trying to do and all the rules and regulations that apply to a state agency, and then figure out how you guys can do that and still be in compliance with those rules and statutes. There may not be anything that prohibits you from doing the activities you've traditionally done, but we want to make sure of that so that somebody can't at a later date come back and question an activity.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, thank you for clarifying. So you mean I can ask freshmen, juniors, sophomores, seniors what activities they might want, maybe a week or a couple of weeks before, and then when they let me know, I can share with the people my plan, and then I can have my plan filled out, what I want to do, and be ready so that possibly they can help me. So if I follow the rules, there's a possibility that we could do fundraising during our half times and games.
I believe so. That's what we are checking into as currently. Our ideal is to get a process and a structure in place where you guys would know everything that would be allowable, would not be allowable for you to do.
Sure.
And so you guys could do accordingly.
Okay.
All I would ask is that you bear with us. We can't really do that, in a week or a month. But that's where we're trying to go.
So my concern is homecoming. That tends to happen in February. So maybe you would have time to let me know before that.
Absolutely.
And then we could follow. We would like to know by February so that we could do something then.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
Now, I want to ask Sharon and Dr. Petrie. Do you have a copy of the athletic budget? Do you have or want a copy of that if you don't have it? Because I've already developed a proposal. I have it ready to give to you. I worked on it during the summer. Do you want that? Okay, sure.
So I would like to talk some thought on Kentucky School for the Deaf, the state agency, versus Kentucky School for the Deaf, the school district. So I just want to try to clarify that as a state agency, we're talking grounds, facilities, personnel, all the different departments, yada, 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 fleet, everything like that. As a school district, we're talking about the academic program. So my question is, for the rest of the state, if I understand correctly, and I'm not claiming that I do, I'm hoping you can clarify for me. As I understand it, for the rest of the state, school districts across the state can manage their own Red Book funds in their district. Is that correct or incorrect?
Yes, they manage them in accordance with the rules established in the book.
Right. So, I know where I'm going with this. Doesn't that warrant exploration and discussion that Kentucky School for the Deaf district, and we absolutely are our own district, that we could possibly govern our own Red Book funds? Cover our district.
That's absolutely a discussion. You just, I myself, I don't have power to exempt someone from state law. That's above my pay grade, so that's what we're all working on together. I'm not saying it's not a possibility, I'm not saying it would happen. I'm just saying, I myself can't come down here and say, well, you don't have to worry about federal or state law.
And I don't mean to be
Yeah.
trying to ignore any laws.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to apply this to everything I've ever seen put in practice at this school.
yes,
Gladys
yes.
Faulkner, fiscal officer, many, many, many years, local funds.
Yeah.
Christy Oaks, number 2, fiscal officer, many years, local funds. Kara Reynolds, fiscal officer, I don't know, a couple, 2, 3 years, it's been different, and again, I'm a little crazy about those dates. But we've had local funds during this time too, so what I'm trying to do is advocate for some type of control within our own school. Because these are your boots on the ground. These are the people that are serving these kids. We're the ones who see when they have, when they don't have, when they need to have. And a lot of times, opportunity falls at our feet. And talking about the 60-day, not that we're opposed to doing it, but sometimes we have opportunities to do things that fall at our feet, and we don't have a 60-day window to process paperwork. I'm just one example. So I promise you, I'm not trying to box anybody in. I'm trying to throw every single thought I have going through my head about things we could possibly explore
Yeah,
to address what must be a big situation. So
sure.
I'm just trying my best to just throw some thought around here. Thank you.
I'm in total agreement with you. We are trying to enable you guys to do everything that you're needing and wanting to do. We're just trying to make sure that things are done in a way that no one can ever come back and question anything anyone's ever done. So, it requires some consideration of people above me, so we're trying to get that information together, present it, so we can present and have those discussions. All good? Anything else? All right, well, if anybody thinks of me, I've been passing some business cards. Zach, he knows how to get a hold of me as well, so honestly, do not be afraid to reach out. We're here to help. So, please, we welcome it.